cat collects, so
Mhm.
he's like VHS and shit. So we sample a lot of that and dig through all that shit.
Dope. Let's talk about
Great.
it, man. Let me cue y'all in real quick, man. We are back here in the Mixtape Show. It is time for the Artist of the Week interview, and this week, man, we got two guests. One of them is no stranger to the show. You guys have you hear his music all the time. You hear his. You heard him on a few interviews here on the show, and that's probably where I got the three from. Right, this is your third time on the show, so I was thinking of third for Beats the Murder Rappers too. Got my man, the Dirty Sample, aka Old Gorilla Bones, and we got a new Boom Bap alumni member joining us right now. Brother, go and introduce yourself, man, and we'll talk about that project as well right after this.
Hey, yo, what up? This is Chaka Boy, representing Cold Camp.
There we go.
Shout out Mo Gravy Records.
Yeah, baby.
There we go. Chaka, Cold Camp. We hate summer. We hate summer. It's a dope project. We'll get into that first because I know my man Dirty Sample produced that whole thing, right? You did the entire project.
Yeah, man. It's kind of came together as like a cinematic, vibe to it, and the way that these cats are, and the way that kind of we directed them throughout the album.
Mm.
It just kind of came together as this like little cinematic, like visual. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
visual sound.
Visual
So
sound, visual audio, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
Chaka, how long you and Sample go back, man? I know we was talking a little bit off air,
Um,
but how far you guys go back?
we've known each other quite a while now. We had a group back maybe 10 years ago called Port Authority,
Mm-hmm.
which was with Hash Mills, Fat Matt, myself, Dirty Sample.
Yeah,
We've done lots of music over the years. I've been on a few of his albums. We've always just stayed connected through the years. He lived in Vancouver. I lived in Vancouver at the time. He came back to Calgary. I came back to Calgary. So,
yeah,
he probably thinks I'm following him now or
yeah.
something. But
We go where the music is.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely,
we just click, man. Me and this guy, we never argue, nothing like that ever. So, that's hard to find in life.
We
absolutely.
smoke a lot of weed together, man.
that usually
Yeah,
that usually handles a lot of the problems, right? Kind of
Yeah, yeah,
eases out a
well,
lot of the
probably.
tension.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
Chaka,
yeah. So
and,
that's a bit of sort of my backstory, anyways.
all right,
I've been rapping for many years now, but through different, I guess, eras and different cities, and
mm,
under different monikers and whatnot. So
yeah,
still going. I'm 40 now and still doing it, so I still love it,
40
just like
is
day one.
40 is young, man. I got
Yeah,
5. I got 5 years on you, so 40 is
There
a
you go.
young.
I still
and
feel young, man.
and Cold Camp, is that have you guys has that always been like a group or a crew or anything like that, or is that just particularly for this project, Chaka?
For this project, yeah, it just sort of came together. Sort of all people up here, up in the north.
Mm,
Where it's cold. And like I said, this is my first year back in Calgary, and these like minus 40-degree winters. You know what I mean? They kind of hit you.
yeah,
So we kind of just shaped ourselves around that, and we all wanted hungry to make music. And it just sort of came together like that with this guy. I'm making the beats, and
yeah.
we were
We
just
just
trying to keep up with him.
yeah,
mm,
we just kind of found this crew of these kind of MCs who were like a little unknown, who kind of came from different areas, never really put anything out much.
mm,
And we were like, man, just pull everything together and we can make something nice out of it. And that's how it kind of all came together, with
yeah,
kind of us pointing them in the right direction.
yeah, and Dirty Sample. The name of the crew is Cold Camp, right? And your sounds always match whatever the theme of that project, because you naturally have that dark kind of eerie, saying feel to you. So it's kind of like this is a perfect situation and sound for this type of project because we in these cold winters, what I'm saying, people, it gets darker quicker,
You
and you
know,
got the audio to kind of match up with that, man. So talk about that. Is that the obviously that's
appreciate.
that's the that's the theme that you guys want to go with when they came to
Yeah,
you to put
man.
this together?
It's like you remember. Do you ever see Hateful Eight?
Yeah, yeah,
That whole movie. You feel cold,
yeah.
like it's cold, and that's kind of what I wanted to catch, that vibe of feeling cold, ice cold, man. Like the day we dropped the album was the first snow drop in our
Mm.
city, and there was a lot of it. Uh, and so it was just kind of like that's the vibe. That's what we are, man. We're ice cold up here, man. you got to be bred to survive these winters, man. And kind of that cinematic cold sound is what we were building.
Yeah, that's funny you say that, Bill. Me and my wife was just talking today earlier about how I grew up in New York, so I'm used to the cold. I'm used to the crazy winters, right? And I was like, my kids, if it's like, we live in Texas now, so like if it's like below 60, they act like it's like 40 degrees outside and 20 degrees, right? And they get sick,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
they get sick like this now. Whereas me, I was like, I was walking to school every day in the middle of winter, you know what I'm saying, with no
yeah,
problem, and never got sick. Like I've never missed a day in school, and this is crazy how
yeah,
like you said, you built for it. Now the generation now is kind of like, I don't like this. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of crosses over to the music scene, right? Where, we us in our generation, we're used to a certain sound. We like these certain type of sounds and vibes, and it's to me it's timeless, right? Because you're creating a story behind the music. Whereas now everything is microwave of music and everything is cook up. Everything is let's catch the vibe on what everybody hears on social media. And
yeah,
you were saying before off air, man, you get a lot of your for this project particularly too. You got a lot of your samples from your man here on a lot of analog stuff like the VHS tapes and stuff like that, man.
yeah,
So
man.
talk about that process, man. I love me as a producer. I love sampling audio as far as vinyl. Vinyl's my way to go.
Yeah.
45s, particularly. I like looking for the weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I just created a beat to last week with some Russian, I think it's like Russian jazz or something I found, and it was
Love it,
it was real
man, love
funky, right?
it.
So for you, man, I know me and you both know we all know it's a painstaking thing to do when you looking for that sample, right? Because you got to be patient. You got to wait for the right thing to hit your ear a certain way where you're like, oh, I'm gonna flip that. So talk about
Yeah,
the process with you two, man, where pulling out those old VHS tapes and you gotta transfer that over, right, to your setup, man. How does that work for you?
yeah. Like, well, you just honestly, man. One of my homies, he'll run hours and hours and hours of just recording
Mm-hmm.
movies, watching old movies and stuff. And we're always catching old VHS flicks too. But honestly, man, it's simple. It's just like any analog setup. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can run it right into your mixer if you got a left right, and and when you find the right stuff, because if you especially for this project, because you're trying to keep it cold and keep it on that chill vibe. When you find the right stuff, you know it. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like when you're digging, even if you're digging Russian shit, if you're digging Korean stuff, like Korean soul from the '60s and '70s is like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, um, but you know the sound when you hear it. Like I can make a beat now that we've worked on the album and now a whole bunch of new music too that we're planning to put out before winter's over
Mm-hmm.
because we're going to release music in the winter. But we're going to like when you're digging it, you finally find that vibe, man. It comes together. As soon as you know it, it's that sound. I can be digging something, catch it, and be like, that's gonna be a cool camp joint.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And
Good
and
time, finds its sound.
and Shaka, for you as a writer, when when you're writing for a project, you're in a certain mind space, right? And you're constantly kind of trying to stay there. How hard is it to turn that off when you got to move on to something else after the project's done and you guys have written it, and maybe you have to move on to another joint? Is it hard for you to kind of turn that vibe and cross over to the next one, or you pretty much just keep going into this till you empty out the clip, basically?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm comfortable kind of switching lanes a bit, but um, like this is so new too, right? Like I haven't even got through the winter yet,
Yeah.
so I haven't even really got to that point yet. So we're still in cold camp mode over here, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so it just seems like now, like, forgive the pun, but it's all snowballing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go, right? So
Yeah.
we're on camp mode right now. That's the focus right now. Um, but yeah, I mean, we've done a few other joints that maybe not cold camp joints, but we've done some pretty fucking hot bangers over the last couple weeks. So it's pushing us in a direction just to be better artists altogether. Like, you know, um, not just, we're not just doing the cold camp. We can do the other stuff, but cold camp is definitely the main focus.
Absolutely, absolutely. And tell me about the process of basically executive producing, man, overseeing everything and getting everybody to turn in their vocals. Because as far as everybody that's involved in the project, are all you guys in the same space, or outside of you two, is everybody kind of spread out from there?
Everyone comes here.
Okay.
Everyone
Okay.
comes. So for me, it's easy, bro, because I'm putting them in where I want them to be. I get to, if you're recording at your house, you got all the control, right?
Mhm.
So
Everyone's hungry right now
Yeah.
too. Like, so that's the good thing. It's just come and it's gone and it's out. It's ready.
Mhm.
We're already working on more, so it's like
Yeah.
it hasn't been a struggle at all, which has just made it such an easy process. You know?
yeah,
Absolutely. So talk about that. Both of you guys can answer that. We'll start with you, Chaka. The hunger. You said that everybody's still hungry. You're a vet, been doing this for a minute, have had different phases in your career and sounds and stuff like that. What is it that motivates you and what keeps you up and what makes you want to still create art, man?
I mean, for me personally, it's just almost like therapy. It's like working through all this shit going on up in my brain on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you try and get away from it here and there, maybe sometimes in life, but it always comes calling back, and it's such a big part of my life. It's like hard to imagine life without music.
Absolutely.
And then just being around the homies again, right? Moving back to this city, being close to the studio here, being close to Dirty Sample. I mean, how could I not?
we're just I'm always making beats.
I'm constantly writing. So like, when I turn in my phone every 2 years, there's thousands of notes, literally thousands every couple years. So it's just like that's just part of life.
Yeah.
And it just when you have like a small group of cats, they kind of like start to really feed off each other and maybe
100.
try to outdo each other's verses, and then you'll record something, then someone will come back and be like, well, I'm gonna re-record that verse with I'm gonna change some shit up. Like they're pushing each other, which is and
healthy
us,
competition.
Healthy.
and us, like which is good.
Absolutely, man. And Dirty, man, do you get? I know for the producer, man, it's when you work on multiple projects, because I know you're kind of like the in-house guy for Han Solo. Shout out to my man over there, Han Solo. Absolutely. Do you take a break, man? Is it time where you kind of say I'm a reset for like a couple weeks and just kind of get my brain right? And then you're a writer too, so I know it's kind of like how hard is it to turn off both of those switches in between projects?
I'd say I'll make more beats than I write for sure, but for me, man, I can maybe go a day or two without working on stuff, but it'll all come back. And then since I got I got an MPC Live, man, I can just unplug and make a beat anywhere, which is the most beautiful thing ever. Yeah,
Gotta keep it around all places, man. It's like having your pistol on you. You gotta have it at you at all time.
Yeah. And it's the greatest because it's there was no learning curve on it for me. It was just like comfortably, and it's just you can just make a beat anywhere, man. Every night, my job, like I work too. I'm manage a weed shop. I don't know if I told you that.
Yeah.
But so all I do is like sell weed and then get to come home and sit down on the couch, smoke, kick it with the puppy dog and the homies, and make beats. Like
this guy's living the life, man. He's living the life, right?
Don't complain much of it.
And just to add to that, like even when we're chilling, right, watching these movies or something, right, we're still in music mode,
It's wild as a creative, man. You hear things and you see things so different from everybody else, right? Like most people look at things for an entertainment value, but I know Dirty, me, him kind of on this, we hear things. It was like, ooh, I like that. You know what I'm saying? Ooh, that I know what I can do with that. I need to write that down,
Yes. Get the Shazam mode.
Absolutely. Shazam, man. I'm a big fan of I don't want to sample snitch, but I'm a big fan of a lot of things to help influence a lot of my sounds, and I'm always listening. I'm always listening to things and hearing things, and I just love that creative process. And then it's always dope when you team up with a dope MC who kind of hears that same thing, or they can expand on what you put down on a beat wise, man. I know that feeling is like gold, right?
That's put it, man. That's the exact way to put it.
Absolutely, man. So Beats to Murder Rappers 2, Volume 2. Drop that too this year as well, man. Real quick on that, man. You killed it on that one as usual. I love listening to your instrumentals, man. I love that's why I came in. No, I came in before that, but as far as being on you was on my radar. But I just love what you do with those series that you put out, man,
Oh,
instrumental
thanks.
wise. And when you put those beat tapes out, man, how many times do people hit you up and want to actually write to those joints on those actual projects?
Well, depends. Like uh, a few times, people have sent like a few songs that they made, and
Mm.
I'm like, don't, as long as it's not on like Spotify or like they're making money off it. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's super dope. But I I love when people reach out, man. It's dope. Like some cats will um, I'll pick a lot of those beats. The reason I started kind of um, making those was because when I was growing up, no one had like there's so many few instrumental
Mm-hmm.
to rap to. Like I think we had, Pete instrumentals.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We had this is like in my maybe early 20s or whatever. Pete instrumentals. Donuts didn't come out till what
The
2006.
2000s, yeah, yeah, the 2000s, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but there wasn't a ton of like
No.
dope just instrumental albums that you could just rap to with your homies. So
yeah, yeah.
that was the idea of those is putting it out, and then you find something you love, and I love those like kitschy, shitty horror films from the '80s and '70s. Like and giallo, like Italian horror stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
love all the sounds and the
Yeah.
the soundtracks are phenomenal. So digging all that stuff, putting it together, finding the vibes. What comes in right, what doesn't. It's just like beautiful too, because it's all horror stuff. So you're trying to I want to sound different,
Mm-hmm.
almost every track. I want it to be different and
Yeah.
unique compared to the last one.
And your particular beat projects always sound like it's a story. Like it's kind of like you always tell a story at the beginning. There's always a middle and an end, audio wise and stuff like that. Because you pull the right samples just to kind of help move the story along with that. And I always appreciate that. And that's one thing I know I wanted to start working on for next year. Try to put something together like that because that's not as easy as people make it seem. You know what I'm saying? To
It,
have a
it can be
story and
tough.
instrumental. You know what I mean? That's real tough to do that.
Yeah, you have to kind of open up your imagination to make it fully work in your own way. But you're an album man, like you understand albums. Like for us, albums are, Chaka and me, we're all the era of
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
Full album.
of albums. Like you press play, you listen to what they had to say and what they wanted to project, and then you dug it, and
Yeah.
you went on repeat. You flip the tape and you press play again. Like
That's right. That's right. And
for us, when we work on stuff, building it as an album is important.
absolutely, absolutely. And Chaka, I know. Like I said, we talked about how this Code project is. Prior to this, man, have you always been I want a conceptual album. I want the whole thing to sound a certain way. I want to tell a story throughout, from track one all the way to track 10, 12, or whatever it is. Or if not, when did you start doing that kind of format of making music?
Yeah, that was sort of more of an evolution over time. When I was younger, I just wanted to spit a hot 16.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
The,
yeah.
a lot of features, a lot of group albums.
Mm-hmm.
So not as much concept there.
Nah,
Unfortunately, but that's something that I grew with. And something that I believe in. All facets of life. So
yeah,
not just music. It's like you know. Sort of mood based anything that movies I'm a big movie guy, as we know, right?
mm-hmm.
So just sort of it's more of a just coming of age thing. With age comes wisdom.
And I
Absolutely.
kind of like push everything to kind of go in that direction. And I'm his number one beat supplier, so
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a
Yeah, it's
supplier.
true too, because I mean, before I came back to Calgary, I was recording with a whole different group of people, whole different mindset on what they want to accomplish
Mm-hmm.
compared to what I want to accomplish. Not in a bad way, just sort of different lanes going different ways.
Yeah, yeah,
Hard to conceptualize in that type of environment, right? So
absolutely. Yeah,
coming back home here, this is where I was born as well.
yeah,
So coming back home, I like to say, is just kind of it's really developed that sort of the overall theme.
absolutely. Yeah, and that's dirty. That's why I'm a big fan of yours as a producer because all the projects you do is just you on those projects with the MC. And it sounds the same. You know what I'm saying? Everything sounds so cohesive with each other, and I've always been a big fan of that. You know, I try to pattern myself in that. I hate going out there. I don't do it. I don't do placements. I don't just want to do one track or your 14 track album and get lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather
Yeah.
just sit with you and let's build something together kind of thing, even if it's
Mhm.
just an EP. So I definitely love those sounds, and you just add it to your catalog, man, and your resume, brother, of another impressive project with this joint. You know, so along with the beat joint, and then I know you got some other joints going on that you dropped early in the year that I'm trying to catch up on. You gotta slow down for me, man. My ears can't keep up with you this fast.
It's just this is what happens is like if I don't work on music, I go I go weird. I actually have an unreleased album that I want to put out that I think we will put out on Head Solo, but it's an instrumental album. I finished it last oh god, maybe almost a year and a half ago now. It's
Mm,
been done. But
mm.
it's good, man. It's called Love Always Wins If You Let It. So it's a complete like it's not dark. You know what I mean? It's a positive vibe album, man. I
Nice.
think you'd love it, man. It's on some stuff. Yeah.
Dope. And Chuck, man, how hard is it for you to sit on music, man? Are you the type of person that, like you said, I know you said you guys are recording now and then, but is it tough for you to kind of just hold on to a body of work and just wait for it to be the right time to drop it?
Nah, I'm not really much like that. I like to just get it out there,
Mm-hmm.
out for the world to enjoy. Um, you know, that's just kind of how I am. But with the group, it's a little bit different, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but things almost have to work on even more of a schedule, so keep everyone in check and keep things on point, right? But yeah, I mean, I like stuff to put it out. I don't like sitting on stuff
But
straight
Absolutely.
like
up.
with
Yeah, personally,
Mo Gravy putting out this album, like kind of taking just how Thomas would promote and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mo Gravy's doing that, you know, their
Absolutely.
version too, which
Word.
is like having these two amazing labels to bounce off, bro, is like Mo Gravy. If you check out the roster, bro, you'll love it, man.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. Yeah, I wrote it down here when you said that. I said, let me write that down because I'm gonna go do my
yeah,
research now. You know what I mean?
Sergeant Comrade, like Sergeant and Comrade, their new album's coming out. The homie The Flies album is coming out soon too, man. Like, there's such incredible music coming out on this label that we're very proud to be,
Word up.
put out on it.
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
And long live the independent, the real independent labels, not the fake. We independent, but we getting backed by the big three, like the real legit independent labels who coming
Yeah,
out of
man.
pocket because they got to go work a 9 to 5 to make money to press up CDs and cassettes and all that kind of stuff. Man, I love the indies. I love indie records. I love indie artists. You know, so I especially love artists who buck against the system and really don't rock with the streams too heavy. You know what I'm saying? I know they got to put it out to get that exposure, but I love seeing artists hustle up. You know what I'm saying? With that old school approach of let's do consume direct to consumer. Let's do CDs. Let's do cassettes, stuff like that. I always appreciate them and I try to support them as much as I can. So shout out to the indie labels, the real indie labels, and shout out to y'all, man.
Yeah, you too, and your hustle too, man. Like,
Man,
you do it, man. You do it right.
yeah, man, it's been a fun learning curve, man, and you know, on our end, we I think this year was our year of building the foundation and establishing things. You helped with that, you know what I'm saying? Your verse on slaps
Oh, bro.
on the heat tape that's one of the top 3 or 4 songs people talk to me about when they talk about that project. It's like, yo, that slaps joint is banging, bro, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, man, dude, that
I'm gonna
beat
have to
is
check
so
this out.
banging. We're gonna hop on more. We're gonna get some more done too, man.
Absolutely.
We got to work for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely, man. We got a lot of work to do, man, and I can't wait to work whatever that looks like, smells like, feels like, all of
Yeah,
that, man.
we'll get some cool camp joints. We'll get an OGB track. It'll be good.
It'll be fun, man. It'll be fun, man. So how about this, man? Let's shout each you guys shout out social medias. You know what I'm saying? Shout out your camp, shout out your labels, so where the people can go check out the product to go get it and all of that, man. We'll start with you, my man
All
Sample.
right. Cold Camp is you can find them, as Cold Camp. The album's called We Ate Summer. It's on all your streaming varieties. From Title to how many people use Title, man?
I don't know. I don't know. I never seen anybody say, "Let me pull up my title account and look for you."
I think title's like more of a DJ thing because, like, we
Yeah,
get,
yeah, because title is built in through Serato too, so I know you can stream through Serato
yeah,
with that.
and
Yeah,
don't we get paid more from through title or something?
I believe title pays more. I know, of course, all the street like Sirius pays the most. And it's funny.
Yeah,
I actually have this information written down for my stuff, but I know now Mixcloud's in there now. Mixcloud pays out. And then the actually YouTube artists, YouTube artist page pays really well too. Those are the
oh,
top ones.
amazing.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
New world, man. It's a
It's
new world.
it's funny, right? Talking about that instead of
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
buy my CD
Well,
for $20. You know what I mean?
right? Yeah. So at Cold Camp North is you can find him on Instagram. Mo Gravy is at Mo Gravy. I am the Dirty Sample at the Dirty Sample. What else we got there? Han Solo Records at Han Solo Records. Shout out to Han Solo Records, man. Speaking of indie, bro, Tom has been putting out music of like amazing Canadian and American artists for the last I don't know how long. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to be on Han Solo.
Nice, nice.
But so shout out so much to that cat being indie, and then Chaka Boy.
Yeah, at Chaka Boy. That's it. You can check out my website, otherworldlycomics.com.
Ooh, comics, comics.
Yeah, I sell all types of comics, VHS tapes, collectibles, all that stuff. So that's my business.
Oh, let me write that down too. What's the name of that again?
Otherworldlycomics.com.
Otherworldlycomics.com.
You got it.
I don't
That's
know.
the hustle.
See, I don't know if y'all can see what I got going on behind me, but I am what you would call a collector. Some people may say hoarder, but I'm a collector. I got
Okay.
behind here. That's like my top vinyl
Oh
joints
yeah,
up there. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
looking
Uh,
good.
I got a Techniques cassette player sitting right in front of me. I got my cassettes on top of there.
Dope.
I got a lot of let's see. I know my man Dirty Sample's familiar with this joint right here. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. The homie
Yeah.
he-
Here we go. I got that joint from my man Dirty Sample.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
Tuesday nights. That
I'm
yo,
on that one,
Chaka's
yeah.
on. Chaka's on that.
I'm a fan, man. I'm a fan of the music, brothers.
That's
Love
dope,
I
it,
get
man.
out there
I
and do it.
appreciate you, man.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, let me write this down because I definitely
I
collect.
wish I had half of this music stuff that I've had over the years, man, but I don't know.
Yeah.
For some reason, it just went through my fingers, most of it. There's some left. There's some
There's some
couple
left.
box stuff left.
I have a crazy quick story. I got an uncle who he got me into DJing. So he's the one who has a crazy record collection. But my uncle had a problem with women, right? So he would stay in women's houses and then break up with them, and he's leaving pieces of his vinyl collection over here, over there, over there. So I told him, I was like, man, when you pass, man, you got to write down the list of these ladies that you were with, man, because I'm about to go collect that vinyl back.
That's a good idea, though.
Yeah, because he has some joints, man.
That's a movie idea. I was just gonna say that.
That's a comedy right there. Yeah. Write that one down, man.
Absolutely, man. He
That's the truth, right, too.
shout out to Uncle Brian, man. He loved the ladies, man, and they out. If it was like a Grand Theft Auto map, you see a bunch of blips on the map. You know what I'm saying? Dope fellas, man.
100 years.
That's great.
Yeah, he had to collect, bro. He collected everything from hip hop to rock, what we call yacht rock now, those type of joints, collectible stuff, Beatles records, all types of stuff, man. So I know I'm gonna have to dig for those, you know what I mean? But fellas, I appreciate y'all coming on as always. Dirty Sample, this is home. Chaka, you are what we call boom bap alumni, brother. Once you come on this show, you family, you know what I'm saying? Just send the records our way. We'll keep playing the records. Anything else new coming up next year, we'll talk about it. Come on through, let's talk about it again. And this is home, man. We want to be one of these hip hop pillars for you guys, and the door's always open as always, man. It may take a little bit to schedule the interviews, but the door's always open, man.
We love and
Appreciate
respect, man. And we love you up here, man. Like Cosm, who was playing your track the other day, man.
Yeah.
Cosm is
Appreciate you sending that screenshot. Lindor saw that and was like bugging out. He's like, "Yo," I was like, "Yeah, that's your country. You should be telling me that."
Yeah. So So like Cosm is the OG. He's been doing that show for 26 years, man. He's a pillar of hip hop in that
Dope,
community. So
dope.
getting played by him is a really dope thing, man.
Nice. This is always good when those type of platforms play the music, man, and there's no
Yeah,
politics involved. You know,
means you're dope. Just means you're dope.
yeah,
Yeah,
that we try to be. We try to be. We try to stay dope, man. We definitely gonna have
yeah.
some work next year, man. If we got to throw out a single just to get the people ready, do something. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk off air about that here in a little bit. But this is home, man. Happy holidays to you fellas if you celebrate and all that.
You as
Um,
well.
Pray for us here in the United States. We're about to have a transition that is it's the world's a crazy place, right?
Yeah,
No
yeah,
doubt,
man.
man.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have a change coming up soon too, I'm sure. But
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, love and respect, man. Be safe,
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna be spending a lot of time in the house for these next few years, man, just to be safe, because it's crazy out here right now. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Dope, man. We'll be right back, and fellas, hold on, and we'll talk a little bit, but we'll be right back here on the air, man.